Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Cane. Today I'm sharing an 8.5 by 11 layout. This is kind of sort of for Scrapbook Generations. I am on her design team, so I'm going to give her credit. The pattern play was a paid for class using 6x6 papers. I'm not using 6x6 papers, but I am using one of the designs that came in that class. But you are able to buy this cut file on the Scrapbook Generations website in case you're interested in it. And it is this cool plus mark one. I think it's really cool for a boy layout, and that's what I'm going to use it for. I'm just documenting a cute little photo of my son eating a cheeseburger, his favorite kind, which is from Culver's, a restaurant that we go to when it's my choice to pick out hamburgers because I do not like McDonald's. So I would rather eat Culver's or Freddy's or some other kind of fast food hamburger instead of McDonald's. And luckily, my son loves Culver's and other places besides McDonald's. So this was a vacation photo, but we're not doing anything except for eating a cheeseburger before we went to the hotel. So here I pulled out Carson since it has the cheeseburger ephemera in it. He's not a teenager in these photos. He's only 8 years old, I believe. This was when we went to Great Wolf Lodge, and I needed one more layout to go in and fill in a place. So this was the perfect one since it was a single photo. And yes, I did cut out all of those plus marks instead of using, I could have used the silhouette to do it. The same way that the silhouette cut the cut file for me, it could have cut out the plus marks. But since I wanted them in all different colors, I decided just to cut them out by hand. And they were not very hard since they're just straight edges and they were pretty simple to cut out. My son happened to come in when I was creating this and he's like, "Are you going to cut all of those out? That seems like a lot to cut out." And I was like, "It's not that many." I think I cut like 3 or 4 depending on the um, pattern, but of each color. So some of them have 3, some of them have 4. And I was just trying to fill it up as much as possible, except for where the photo is going to be. So, and you can see I already had them placed where I wanted them to be, but I hadn't put them down yet because I just wanted to keep that in to show some people how you back a cut file. Because I know there's a lot of people that don't have the machine or they're just curious how you do that. And this is how I do it. A lot of people do it differently. They'll put it down and then use an X-Acto knife to cut it out, or cut it out, like I said, with the silhouette itself and then put them on. But I just trim them up if they're a little bit too big once I put them on. And this seems to work fine for me. I do mess up one of them towards the end, and I will point it out. I believe I left it in. I put it on backwards. So I was like looking at it and I'm like, something's wrong with this design. What is wrong with, I have not enough of this colored paper. And of course, it was the multicolored paper. And I just ended up cutting it off. And I'm going to turn the cut file kind of like at an angle. And it would have ended up underneath the photo anyways. So, yeah, it gets cut off. So I believe it's here when I realized that, oops, I made a mistake. But I'm going to go ahead and keep going along, and I'm backing my photo with just white cardstock, and then I'm going to place it on black. And that's one of the pattern papers. It was a scrap one that I had left. This blue one is not from Carson. That one is actually from a toddler collection, I believe. That's where I found that I made the mistake. I couldn't pull it off because it was tearing the cardstock, and I wouldn't have been able to cut another plus sign to put on top of it because it wouldn't have been perfectly fit. So I was like, nope, I'm just going to cut it off and go without it. It'll be okay. And in the end, it's fine. Nobody even knows except for I just told you and I left it in and let you see me do it. Otherwise, nobody would have known. So there we go. I have one more little orange one at the top. I needed more of the orange one to show. So that's why I went ahead and added the rest of that one at the top, because I was placing the photo kind of at a different angle now. I needed it to be up there. On the photo, I put the sticker letters from the sticker sheet, and it just says legit, which is not really a word we use very often, but it just means legitimately. So um, I put legit goodness. That's the title of it. And like I said, it was something that, at least we're not eating McDonald's, but we're still eating hamburgers and fries. So my son is happy. So here I'm going to use the Bella Boulevard letters to spell out goodness. And these are I believe, the Luna ones. And I'm just going to place them across. I am adding a little bit of glue to them. They don't like to stay in place without a little bit of glue, just so you know. I'm going to pull a little sticker off of the sticker sheet that says 24/7, 365 days, because pretty much any day of the week he will eat a cheeseburger. And even now, as a teenage boy, except for it costs me a little bit more money because usually he wants a very big cheeseburger. Um, but he definitely will eat cheeseburgers any day of the week. So here I'm adding flatback stars. These are made out of like a resin, and they're all different colors. They happen to be all colors that match the layout. I'm going to pull out two more, a light blue and a white one here in a minute, because I didn't have enough. I didn't want the same color next to each other, and I thought I had pulled them all out, but I really didn't. And I also didn't want to use the black ones over on the plus signs, since the cut file is black. So I just pulled out white and lighter blue, and that worked out perfectly. So I sped it up, of course, but I did leave it in. I'm just going to go all around the edges and add the little stars. And it just adds a little something extra to the layout. I will add a little bit of journaling down at the bottom. On the right hand side, there's a place for journaling. Like I said, we were getting ready to go to the hotel for a vacation, and we stopped to get a cheeseburger. I'm just doodling around the edge, like a stitch line, basically. And I just did it messy. There's two lines, and I didn't care if they were exactly straight or running over each other. And then I scribbled some little lines on them also. And I think it looks pretty cute. I hope you guys enjoyed today's quick layout for the most part, except for all the cutting of the cut file. But I enjoy using a cut file on a layout. It usually makes for a quick layout, with the exception of backing the cut file. But that's the fun part. I like backing the cut file. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!